Hi, welcome, beautiful, beloved souls. My name in this version is Gemstone, and in this version, I am a psychic and I am a medium and I'm a YouTube creator. On this channel, you'll see that I mainly do commentaries where I look at anything and everything to do with life and death through a lens, hence the name of the channel. I have a specific interest though in consciousness, and this is going to be part 2. I uploaded a reflection of my life, but I just want to look at that and the philosophical implications people explore around the many world interpretations of quantum mechanics. Although there's an important distinction, many worlds doesn't literally say every ordinary decision you make creates two universe. That's a popular way of illustrating the concept rather than a straightforward statement of the physics. But as a thought experiment, let's take my first choice. Suppose there are two possibilities. Gem A makes choice 1. Gem B makes the other choice. Then each possibility encounters another branching event. A1 leads to A2, B1, B2. Then again, you have A1A, A1B, A1C, A1D, B1A, B1D, etc. And if the choices aren't binary, but have 5, 20, or 1,000 possible outcomes, the branching becomes absolutely enormous. I applied it to my 4 marriages. So there could be, theoretically, be a version of me who never married husband 1, married husband 1, but never divorced, divorced 1, but never married 2, married 2 and stayed with him, never met 3, met 3 but walked away, married 4 and divorced him at a different point, and so forth. And Rob. And I wondered whether my preceding choices somehow funneled me towards eventually meeting Rob. But it raises the difference between causation and hindsight. From my present perspective, I look backwards and say, if I hadn't made X choice, I wouldn't have reached Y, and therefore I would never have met Rob. But in a branching universe model, the version of me who made the other choices doesn't necessarily disappear. She's simply living a different continuation. Then I brought in the idea of getting clean. And this isn't one isolated decision. I'm talking about an entire chain of consequences. One version of me gets clean, another doesn't. Then the clean version encounters another fork and another. So even the versions that both become clean could eventually become radically different people because of hundreds of subsequent choices. And that leads into my question, at what point does that other person stop being me? This is where physics bumps into philosophy. If a version of me existed who had my exact history until, say, the age 10, but then made different choices for the next 55 years, is she still me? What if she looks identical? What if she has the same memories until the age of 10? What if she has completely different memories? What if she's 65 and I'm 65, but she's never experienced anything I've experienced? At some point, same person becomes much less about physical resemblance and much more about what we mean by identity. And then I talked about reincarnation, which takes another step. Suppose we accept reincarnation as a possibility for the sake of the thought experiment. My hypothetical previous life person dies. If the multiverse is branching, then there could be numerous choices or versions of that person immediately prior to death, each having arrived there through different choices. So which one reincarnates? The person, the consciousness, the information pattern, the soul? And if there are multiple versions, does reincarnation somehow select one? Or do multiple versions each continue into different incarnations? That's no longer something physics currently gives us an answer for. So I've crossed from quantum interpretation into metaphysics. Then there's my parents' timing when they were intimate. And I don't even need to invoke multiverses to make that thought staggering. Change the timing by a tiny amount, and potentially a different sperm fertilizes the egg. Change it sufficiently, and perhaps no fertilization occurs. So there is a bizarre sense in which the particular person who is me or you is contingent upon an extraordinary chain of events. Different sperm, different genetic composition, different person. Different egg cycle, potentially different person. Different meeting between parents, perhaps they never conceive. And if my parents or your parents had made different choices years earlier, they might never have met at all. So we can keep traveling backwards. Me, you, your parents, their parents, their parents, their parents. Every generation contains an enormous number of possible alternate histories. And then we get to this question: how many things had to happen exactly as they did for this particular consciousness to be sitting here wondering about it? My multiverse explores outward then. There's one universe where AI doesn't exist, one where it does, one where the pandemic happens, one where it doesn't, one where humanity develops nuclear weapons, and maybe we've even had a nuclear war, one where it never does, one where you and I make a completely different decision tomorrow, one where we don't. And here's the strange bit. If many worlds were correct, you wouldn't necessarily need to imagine universes as being created when you make conscious decisions. The quantum state of that universe is continually evolving with different possible outcomes becoming effectively separate branches through decoherence. So, is there one real gem? Or is gem simply the name we give to the particular continuous history experienced from inside this branch? So, what do you guys think? I thought I would do a part 2 because it's bigger than just you and I. When we take society, when we take history into account, even though I believe all is happening now, but if all is happening now and there are different choices, that's mind-blowing too. There are so many different worlds. We think this world is hell, but there could be worse possibilities. The pandemic could have killed a lot more. There could be more pandemics. There could be more terrorists. Money might not be a thing. We might not have banks. We might never have gone from being caveman to what we are now. And even more so, we all believe in resets, that throughout time and history, there's been a reset. Whereas there never was. There is a popular belief in different cultures around the world that thousands of years ago there was a disaster. Some call it the flood myth. What if that never happened? What if dinosaurs never went extinct? What if Earth never got the right conditions to even have life? There's a possibility that Earth is just a cold planet with nothing. There's a possibility that there's no Earth. This goes back to my book too, Seeing the Spirituality Behind the Negativity, a Menu for the Game of Life. In that book, I talk about infinite games. Whatever you think exists or could exist in your imagination does. And there's things that exist that we have no imagination for. But that's a different video again, because in this video, we're looking at what if, or if this happened, would this happen? There's a possibility, World War I, that the winners are the losers. Possibility in World War II that the Japanese invaded Australia and we're all speaking Japanese, and Germany invaded England and they're speaking German. In actual fact, I saw a few years ago where that actually happened. Someone made a series where England was under Nazi rule. And there's also a possibility that Japan never bombed Pearl Harbor. The Twin Towers are still standing. The Indians, the native Indians, are still native Indians. So it's not just us, but even us, because we impact and affect the world ourselves. We make up society. So the fact that we're making choices, and collectively those choices, there's just infinite. All right, drop a comment. What do you reckon? Do you believe in this? Do you even believe this? That we don't even have to go there. We just have to talk about our parents. If our parents are never met, because they have to be in the right spot at the right time to meet each other and be intimate at the right time for us to even be here. All right, drop a comment. I really want to read your comments. Do so respectfully. If only the world was less judgmental, less racist, less biased, more tolerant, be a better place. Be kind to each other, smile at a stranger. You might just save a life. Take care of yourselves because you matter. You are special and you're here for a reason. Love, light and blessings. See you whenever. I haven't made up my mind when I'm coming back yet. Bye.